Now, a lot of you are probably going to go, oh, that's stupid. Why the hell would you want to do that? Well, for those of you that are confused, Guardian is the first rank that you get in Infamous 2. It's what I like to call the neutral rank, because it's when Cole has the yellow and black shirt, and he's not Hero, he's not Infamous, he has Blue Lightning. It's called the Guardian rank. It's the very first one for good karma. And I'm going to start a new game on Infamous 2. I'm going to do a complete story playthrough on how to stay Guardian the entire time. How to mix match. God, I cannot talk whatsoever today. Choices and how to stay at that rank the entire time. I already have a saved game that I'm Guardian on. But if you want to know how, I'm going to do a complete playthrough. I'm going to find blast shards, that sort of thing. Just like a story playthrough. I'll probably be doing that for my updates. So, like, as the story progresses, I'm probably going to use that footage from my playthrough as my update footage. Maybe. We'll see how well that rolls over. I find a lot of dead drops lately. Anyway, I figured out how we could bring Alden back into the Infamous series. God damn it, get up there. Okay, so when Cole gets struck by lightning in the good ending on the boat, you know, we wind up in the hospital. You know, the whole opening mission thing, the mission script that I made up. The opening mission where Cole ends up in the hospital. And then Kessler comes in and takes Cole and Zeke into captivity. What happens is that when that lightning strike hits the boat, it releases all of the energy within Cole's body. Meaning, now, this might be a little complicated, but when Cole used up the RFI, let's just say, for example, that Cole's body stored some of the ray field energy. It can. Here's how it works. You all remember the mission in Infamous 2 where you unlock the ionic charges. It's called Storm's Coming. Once you start that mission and you kill the 3 militia down in the park, one is glowing with a purple ionic charge, and Zeke is like, hey man, you see that weird glowy thing? You do that? And Cole's like, no, but I feel it, it's ray field energy. And then he goes and he picks it up, and it absorbs into Cole's body. So by Cole using the RFI, he can potentially store ray field energy. So when the lightning strikes the boat, it releases this ray field energy, activating conduits continuously around the world. Alden, therefore, is revived. And now, as far as I know, this is all of my knowledge. Yes, Alden was tested on by Moya in the comic books. That's how Moya made her army of super conduit people that didn't work. They died when they had to fight David, oh shit, what's his name? Crap. I forgot his last name. Yeah, but anyway, in the comic books, Moya tried to create super soldiers by using Alden's DNA, his powers, that sort of thing, and they didn't work. They ultimately failed. So, anyway, I don't know if Alden's dead. All I know is he's extremely weak. His powers have been tested, taken from him. He's been worked on. But, you know, let's just say for the sake of argument, a lot of people want Alden to come back, so we'll do it anyway. Alden is revived when this mass amount of ray field energy is released when the lightning strikes the boat, and Cole is revived as well. Now, how are we going to pull Alden in the storyline? Some of you might ask. You don't want him to be an old man again because, you know, time goes on, you only get older. What you can do, remember in Infamous 1 where you're fighting Alden up on his tower and you're trying to get the ray sphere? And Alden says, when this tower is complete, I'll be reborn and I'll have a new body and all this stuff. There's where we continue. We somehow give Alden this new body that he's talking about in Infamous 1. We give him this upgraded body and mind and all this weird shit he's talking about. And then we give him his own army. We give him a more organized, up-to-date version of the Dustmen. And I've changed some things around. I don't want Moya to have her own military. I scratched that idea. I don't want that anymore. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have Moya come back as a conduit. Kessler's gonna capture her. Moya's gonna be working undercover with Kessler, and she's gonna be working with the government military as a double agent. So she's really gonna be working for Kessler, but she's gonna pretend she's working for the government. Double agent, just like she was before in Infamous 1. Except she's gonna be a conduit, so she's gonna help both sides. So while she's helping out Kessler, she's gonna be pretending to help the military. And what's gonna happen in Infamous 3, at least from this version, what we've been discussing all this time, is you're going to have multiple choices to make. It's not simply going to be good or evil, quo or nix, this or that. That does not work for a game. It's time we ditch that idea and we got more in-depth with the choices. I say, we give you the option to join whoever you want. We make the story revolve around who you join and who you decide to work with. You can work with literally anybody you choose. You can work with the First Sons and Kessler. You can work with the government, the military. You can work with the vampires. You can work with the rebels. You have 4 basic choices of who you want to side with. This way, depending on which story you choose and the choices you make, your enemies aren't always the same. You're going to have different enemies depending on who you side with. I think this gives you a hell of a lot more freedom than it did in both the first 2 Infamous games combined. Sure, Infamous 1 had better choices than Infamous 2, but if you give the option to make as many choices as you want, if you expand on that, you can really have a good game. Let's watch this for a second. Oh, please. I hate that. I hate how the fucking government takes credit for everything. Cole turns on a substation and then the news comes on. Government officials were working relentlessly repairing transformers and broken substations. Yeah. Really? That's some more shit we gotta have in Infamous 3. We gotta have that conspiracy crap. People running around taking credit for actions that they didn't even do. Preferably the military. The military taking credit for shit that Cole does. You know, Cole runs around repairing substations, turning on the power, and then the military jumps in and takes action for it. Prototype. Here's an example for why Infamous 2 wasn't as good as it could have been. Infamous 1, you have the virus, you have the plague, the disease that starts all this. Prototype, you have what's called the Mercer virus. For those of you that have played Prototype, you know what it is. It's a device, not a device. It's a disease that the government released to test on people to see what the reaction would be. Alex Mercer, obviously having DNA that was highly resistant to the disease, gave him these subhuman powers. At least that's as far as I know. I haven't played Prototype, but that's what I know about it. So then they blame it on Alex Mercer because, well, what do you know? He's the guy that runs around with the powers. Infamous 2, what they do, they completely ditched the plague. Yeah, it was there, and it still existed, and it was a problem, but it didn't matter as much as it did in Infamous 1. The plague was just a disease that existed, and you had to stop it. That was it. Once again, Infamous 2 fails to put emphasis on the things that matter. Okay, in Infamous 1, the plague was a huge deal. You could actually tell the damage that the plague was doing. The city was broken. The people were suffering. There was people lying around all over the place. You could literally feel that the destruction of the city was caused by the plague. In Numeray, even Quo even says this to you while you're doing the mission in the cemetery where you get the second or third blast core. It's your third blast core. You're in the cemetery working with Quo right after she gets her superpowers. She says, "It's the same plague you dealt with in Empire City, but it's more lethal now." Okay, so the plague is more lethal, but the city's not broken. The people aren't suffering. Nothing is happening. The plague's more lethal than it was in Empire City, yet the city of Numeray sucks twice as much as Empire City did. It doesn't feel alive. The people don't feel like they're suffering. You can't tell anything is happening. In Infamous 2, literally, all I felt was it was all talk and no game. Every time you heard something on the news broadcast on the TV, the plague this, the plague that. Every time you talk to Zeke or Quo, this is the plague this, the plague that, the plague, the plague, the plague. But when it come to action, did it feel like the plague was doing anything? No. Not at all. I feel this is where Sucker Punch really got lazy and laxated off. They flunked in creating an alive feel like Infamous 1 had. They just, I feel that they could have done so much better if they'd put, well, I can't blame it fully on Sucker Punch, because after all, they were rushed. Sony told them to make Infamous 2 before they were even done with Infamous 1. And then, of course, 2 years later, you come out with Infamous 2. You can't produce a good AAA game in simply 2 years. It just doesn't work. There's going to be things that fail about it. And even before that, there was trailers and footage and gameplay of Infamous 2 in 2010. That's just 1 year after Infamous 1 came out. They should have held off a little bit longer on creating Infamous 2. They could have done so much better with it. I feel like I've said quite enough on the subject, so I'm going to let you guys go now. I gotta get outside. It's a beautiful day, and I'm wasting my life away down here in my room playing games. So I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to enjoy life. As my mom likes to say, join the land of the living. So I'll be back for my next update. I might be posting some things in between. Other than that, there's not much I have to say, so I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.